The rise of a future star, Lamine Yamal's journey. Some players are born with talent, but talent alone is never enough. Behind every great success, there's a story of struggle, sacrifice, and an unbreakable will. This is the story of Lamine Yamal, a boy who refused to let his dreams slip away. The narrow streets of Mataró, Spain, were always alive with the sound of a bouncing ball. In a small neighborhood where high-rise buildings cast long shadows over the concrete playgrounds, a young boy played day and night. His name was Lamine. He wasn't the tallest nor the strongest, but when the ball was at his feet, it was as if the world around him disappeared. Every dribble, every touch, it was magic. He played with kids older and bigger than him. They laughed at him at first. "Go home, kid. You're too small," they'd say. But he never left. He danced past defenders, weaving through them with impossible speed, leaving them breathless. And soon, the laughter turned into respect. But respect alone didn't put food on the table. Lamine's family, like many immigrants, faced struggles most people never saw. His father worked long hours. His mother made sure their small home was filled with warmth, even when the days were hard. There were nights when Lamine heard them whispering about bills, about money they didn't have. He pretended to sleep, but he understood. He knew he had to make it, not just for himself, but for them. One day, his life changed forever. A scout from La Masia, FC Barcelona's legendary youth academy, had been watching him. A phone call came, and suddenly, the boy from the streets of Mataró was standing at the gates of football's greatest institution. But getting there was just the first step. The real battle was about to begin. La Masia was not just a school, it was a battlefield. Every kid there was a prodigy, a future star in the making. Talent wasn't enough. You had to prove yourself every single day. The first weeks were brutal. Training was harder than anything he had ever experienced. The pace was relentless. The coaches didn't care about his name, his story, or where he came from. All that mattered was what he could do on the field. And for the first time in his life, doubt crept in. Could he really make it? He missed home. He missed the comfort of playing in the streets, the feeling of freedom when it was just him and the ball. But then he remembered his mother's voice. "When you feel like giving up, remember why you started." So he fought. He trained harder, stayed longer after practice, studied every move of the legends before him. He watched Masia, Xavi, Iniesta, Barcelona's greatest. He didn't just admire them, he wanted to be them. And soon, the coaches noticed. The boy who had struggled in his first weeks was now dribbling past seasoned defenders, scoring goals that left even the veterans speechless. His talent was undeniable, his hunger unmatched. But his biggest test was yet to come. By 2023, whispers began to spread. A new wonder kid was rising in La Masia, a player who didn't just play football, he danced with it. And soon, Xavi, Barcelona's legendary midfielder and now head coach, made the call. At just 15 years old, Lamine Yamal was called up to Barcelona's first team. It was surreal. The locker room that had once belonged to his idols was now his. He sat beside players he had only seen on TV. The pressure was overwhelming. Journalists doubted him. Fans questioned the decision. "He's too young. He's not ready." The voices were loud, but Lamine had heard them before. And just like before, he let his feet do the talking. His debut came in La Liga, the biggest stage in Spain. When he stepped onto the pitch, thousands of eyes were on him. And in that moment, he wasn't just playing for himself, He was playing for his family, for every kid who had ever been told they weren't good enough. The ball came to him. Time slowed. One touch, a flick, a sprint past a defender. The stadium held its breath, and then a perfect cross leading to a goal. The world had just witnessed the beginning of something special. But Lamine Yamal wasn't just destined for club greatness. By 2024, he wasn't just a rising star in Barcelona. He was making history on the international stage. The UEFA Euro 2024 tournament had arrived. Spain, once a dominant force in world football, needed a new hero. And against all odds, that hero was a teenager. The world watched as he took the field against Europe's giants. He wasn't supposed to lead. He wasn't supposed to be the difference maker. But talent doesn't care about expectations. Match after match, he dazzled. The youngest player in the tournament, yet playing with the composure of a seasoned veteran. He scored, he assisted, he turned defenders inside out. And by the end of it all, he had helped carry Spain to glory. The streets of Mataró erupted in celebration. The boy who once played on those concrete courts was now lifting a nation. Today, Lamine Yamal's story is still being written. He is still just a teenager, but he has already carved his name in the history of football, and yet, if you asked him, he would say this is just the beginning. Because for Lamine, the dream has never been just about playing football. It's about proving that no matter where you come from, no matter how many people doubt you, if you fight for your dream, nothing is impossible.